LoueMT is one of the 5 best AoE 4 players in the entire universe. He already won his first S tier tournament this year by beating Marine Lord, the best player in the world, and now, in the latest S tier tournament, he is the only player who has picked the Golden Horde on a land map, despite all of their weaknesses at the top level. So the question is, does he know something we don't? Let's get into it. The reason Golden Horde is almost never picked at the top level, and why they sit at a below average 49% win rate in Conqueror and above, is because they are one of the weakest early game civs in AoE 4. They start with one less villager, their drop of buildings cost more than normal, they are forced to build an Ubu, and unlike the base Mongols, they cannot move their town center to protect any of these exposed buildings. This guarantees an extremely late feudal timing, and if they get spearmen rushed, they simply cannot defend their eco. Now, once they hit feudal age, they do unlock the Ken and the Turguds, both excellent later in the game, but early on they're still not the best heavy cavalry. Their economy also needs a long time to kick in, which gives their opponents a very comfortable window to deal damage, delay castle, or go castle themselves. And speaking of castle age, Golden Horde has one of the slowest age up mechanics in the entire game. It takes them 2 full minutes to reach castle after clicking, and since they can't put villagers on the landmark like almost every other civ can, there's no way to speed this up. That gives the enemy even more time to get an upgrade advantage and end the game right there. Now that we understand why this civ is considered weak at the top level, let's see how one of the best players in the world deals with all of these disadvantages. Okay everyone, so here we are looking at a game of LoueMT playing the Golden Horde against Scarlet Devil, who is, I think, a teammate of his, or at least he practices a lot with him, both Louis and Scarlet, both Chinese players. And here we're going to see how LoueMT deals with one of, if not the best civilization in the game. And as I mentioned before in the intro, we already see that Scarlet is going for Barracks Rush, and this is because what I mentioned before, Golden Horde is extremely weak to early harass, and Louis here got a really bad spawn because his stone is extremely forward. This is like 1,000 kilometers away from his base. So let's see what Scarlet Devil does to counter this. So let's see what actually Louis does to counter this. So Scarlet Devil decides to go one spearman on the back to his gold and to start hitting the Ubu. And take a look at this. So Louis decided to pull one of his sheep towards this gear. And the reason for this, let me actually slow it down a little bit to explain this. The reason for this is because if this spearman, if he went for a regular 7-3 split with his villagers, as every other civilization, or almost every other civilization does at the start of the game, this spearman here would have gotten to his gold before he could mine the gold needed to age up. As you see here, he already has the gold needed. He doesn't have the food yet, he's about to. Now he does, and now he starts aging up. And that is because he sent these 2 villagers here to gather the gold needed before the spearman arrived. And because he doesn't want to, these 2 villagers already walked a really long distance over here to get there. And because he didn't want them to walk all the way back to the ship, he just placed a ship here on the gear and he started gathering from it. And if this gear ever starts getting way too low on HP, he can just repair them instead of having to send another villager back to repair. So he, by doing this, he is avoiding a lot of walking time with his villagers. Although I did see that he was getting a ton of idle time here under his TC because I think he didn't have enough sheep. I don't think he has returned the sheep yet. So he had a ton of idle time anyways here under his base. But now he's going into food. And let's see how the Ubu is doing. So these 2 guys have been hitting it the whole time. And Louis here is already going up with the Cannon Turguds age up, which is by far the best one in my opinion, and I think in everybody else's opinion. And the way he defends this is he cannot kill these 2 guys with villagers, and he cannot kill them with the Can or with the Turgut either. So what he's going to do is he's going to build a fortified outpost with all the wood that he gathered from here. And now he saves his Ubu. So now that it is burning, he just needs to repair it a little bit with one villager. And if he tries to come back and hit it, he just garrisons in the fortified outpost. Really nice, and he probably will save this gear too, now that he is almost in the feudal age. By the way, noticed, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but Scarlet Devil actually got to feudal age faster than Louis did, even while investing into a barracks and 3 spearmen. This is why Golden Horde is really hard to play at the top level, because they can use the fact that aging up to feudal and to castle is extremely slow. So now the can definitely deal with just 1 spearman, and he's also going, or at least I think he's going to go for a Torgoods pretty soon. So now he successfully survived the Dark Age. With all of the micro text that we just saw, he went into a stockyard, interestingly, before going into the air. Actually, he's going into the air right now. I am not sure why he went into stockyard before the deer. I would have probably preferred to go into the deer first, maybe because he was scared of the spearmen and the lords. But right now, this is something else you can do, by the way. The Golden Horde can build walls, so make sure use of that. Some players I've seen, they just skip the walls because they are used to playing Mongols that cannot build walls. But you can do that with this civilization. So right now, he has 1 stockyard, which will help him maintain his food under his TC. And he has this deer here protected, and he's also went for a second Ubu. So right now, what it looks to be happening is that he's going into full cavalry, so Keshiks and Torgoods, and he's going to go for an archery range as well to defend the spearmen that he has here. Right now, it looks pretty grim for LoueMT, by the way, because look at the army difference at this point. So what he can do right now with this cavalry is to actually go and catch the reinforcements, but it's actually pretty hard to do so because he has spearmen here. And now these villagers are actually in a lot of trouble, and Scarlet Devil is sending units from both sides. This wall is not going to be there in time, so he just has to run. He's getting chased, by the way, Scarlet, by archers and Torgoods. So this was a really nice timing attack by Scarlet Devil that caught LoueMT off guard. Right now, it looks like he got just 1 kill out of that, 1 or 2 kills. Yeah, I think just 1 kill out of that raid. But there's a lot of idle time going on with LoueMT's villagers. But right now, he has, I think, 3... Okay, only 2 archers to deal with this amount of spearmen is not going to be enough. So I don't think LoueMT has the mass to win a fight here. And so right now what he's going for is just the food under his TC that is pretty untouched, thanks to the food that he gathered from here and thanks to the stockyard as well. And by the way, I'm going to go back a little bit to analyze the fortified outpost play that he did right here. This fortified outpost, it would seem like a waste if he was playing any other civilization, but because this outpost actually buffs up the stables, the archery range, and the golden tent, because of this production speed edict, it is actually not wasted at all, because you will still want a fortified outpost here anyways to buff up your buildings. So really nice play by LoueMT here to save the Ubu in the Dark Age. And right now, he is massing up a ton of cavalry. He's already got... was the 6 Keshiks and 7 Torgoods and some archers. Not enough archers though to deal with the amount of spearmen and lords that he has here. But anyhow, Scarlet Devil already did a ton of damage, and now he's trying to go for a white tower. But LoueMT sees it straight away. He knows that he's going for a white tower, and this is what I told you about in the intro as well. He can go to castle extremely quickly because he can put a ton of villagers on it. And if LoueMT wanted to follow him to castle age, he cannot, because he has to research it here in the golden tent. And it takes 2 minutes and 5 seconds, which is extremely slow, and there's no way to speed that up. So right now he splits his cavalry. He goes to raid. This is the correct choice because he cannot do anything about this white tower. So all he can do right now is raid. And raiding also is extremely good because it buys him time for him to get to castle. But right now it looks really grim for Louis here. And this is here you're seeing in full display why Golden Horde is so weak. And right now I'm wondering myself how Louis is going to be able to win this, because it looks like he's still 1 minute and 30 seconds away from an age up. He only has this amount of units. Scarlet Devil has better economy. Well, actually no, Scarlet Devil is actually behind on economy, but he's 1 age ahead. And now let's see what Louis does to defend this push. So right now, these fortified outposts is really important to defend, because he can switch the Golden Tent to a defensive Aura Edict if he so chooses to increase all of these units' health by 10%. Right now, he just puts it in production speed still, and Scarlet Devil is waiting, I guess, to get his upgrades. He's getting +2 ranged armor, and he's making a ton of knights and a ton of armored units right now. He also puts manor here, so all of these guys are buffing up the manor, and this manor is actually giving almost 200 resources per minute, which is actually insane. And now he finally gets to Castle Age, and immediately he goes for the Veteran Keshex and Steeled Arrow. This Steeled Arrow is really important, not just for his archers, but because it also buffs up the fortified outpost and the TC damage. So he has survived, but Scarlet Devil now has a timing to attack before his upgrades kick in. And by the way, the Torguts are upgraded immediately. They don't need to be upgraded like the other units, they just get upgraded immediately. So take a look at how LoueMT funnels all of Scarlet Devil's units between the fortified outpost and the TC. This is something that most players don't do, is just guiding the rush of an opponent or the all-in of an opponent to the weakest point or to the strongest point of your base, actually. So he's targeting all of the spearmen with his archers, like you see here. All of his units are now fully upgraded. He has spearmen too mixed in to deal with the knights, and he has completely destroyed the all-in, or at least the push of Scarlet Devil. And right now, I think this is already GG, because all the damage Scarlet Devil did is destroyed one wood that I think only cost 150 resources. Yeah, that's 150 wood. And now take a look at the army lead, and because the TC production of the Golden Horde is a little bit faster than normal, he's also ahead a few villagers. And now the only thing Scarlet Devil has going for him is that he has a ton of villagers protected under his white tower, but all of these villagers are unprotected. All of his gold is unprotected. He has to go mine here, and now the only thing that is covering his base is his TC, which is not going to be enough. And if he wanted to garrison under his TC, all of these villagers will have to walk towards this side. So this TC is actually not doing any damage whatsoever. Now he sends one guy to raid here. He's also looking at this point, and the rest of his units can go in the middle. And now these units are extremely tanky because he has all the Castle Age upgrades, and that spells out the end of the game. Really nice play from LoueMT. Okay, now let's go over the second game. This is still a practice game. I think Scarlet and Louis have practiced this matchup quite a bit, and it's actually interesting to see how Louis deals with one of the best civilizations in the game. And once again, Scarlet Devil goes for the barracks. Always go for the barracks against Golden Horde, because if players don't do what LoueMT does, then you're going to get a ton of value out of these units here. So right now, Louis got a much better spawn than last game. He got gold in the back and Uwu in the back as well. So now pretty much the same thing is happening than what happened in the last game. So he gets a ship here under his gear to avoid walking back, and after the golden tent is built, he then sends some one villager here to repair the Ubu to avoid losing it, and then he just built a fortified outpost to protect it, and now the spearman cannot do anything. And I think he actually loses one, which is really bad for Lancaster, because you don't want to lose. You can get units damaged in the Dark Age and then heal them back with the Abbey of King. So I don't think he wanted to lose one spearman there, but that's alright. It's not a big deal. And now Louis has successfully survived the Dark Age once again. This is kind of interesting how this civilization worked out to be. It's just a mini game of can you survive the Dark and the Feudal Age. So this time Louis does not go for for a farm like he did in last game, he immediately goes to the deer, and he already has his second uwu. This is an amazing spawn for Louis, by the way. Both uwus are on the back, which is really nice. And now his can is out, and he can start harassing his villagers. And now, this time, he sends his can not to kill Spearman that was here getting the gear, but instead he is trying to do some damage into Scarlet Devil's villagers. And he is defending extremely well. You saw there how he placed his scout in a way where he would block the Spearman, the charge. He still gets one charge here, but that's pretty much all the damage he's going to get. Now that horsemen are out in the field, take a look at how the Torguts are not with the can. The Torguts are actually here, defending, because if a couple of Hovelers get here and start attacking these villagers, it's going to be really bad for Louis. So you don't need to have 3 Ignites that deal 10 damage here, harassing your opponent's villagers. You can just use some of the units that you have. He's actually going for Spearmen too and Archers to defend the Ger here. And this is really important in my opinion, because most players, what I've seen them do is build a fortified outpost here. But fortified outposts are extremely costly. Take a look at this. 200 resources. So it's like building 2 regular towers. So instead of building a fortified outpost here, he just rallies his barracks. As you can see here, I'm selecting his barracks and his archery range. Both of them are rallied to this point here, which is his weak spot right now. This point, I think he could also use a fortified outpost here if he wanted to, or he could just leave a few spearmen here to defend. So really nice and optimized play way of doing this, in my opinion. So right now, he has the lead in army, as opposed to the last game where he was greatly outnumbered. He now has the lead, so it is extremely good, and he is buying a lot of time for himself to get safely into Castle Age. So what I talked about before, this is pretty much like a mini game of can you survive until the Castle Age, and up to this point he is actually doing so. We can see in the resources that Lancaster is still Lancaster, right? He's still kicking the Golden Horde's ass in resources. But right now he is also scaling into stockyards, which are an extremely nice way to gather food. Because right now he has, Scarlet Devil has these sheep under his base, and he has this deer. And he's actually gathering, he's going to gather deer from here too with the White Tower protection. But he will probably run out of food much faster than Louis because of these stockyards here. So right now Louis sensed that Scarlet Devil was aging up, so he goes and attacks. But the army difference is pretty much nothing. It is actually in favor of Scarlet Devil right now, because Scarlet Devil's army is much stronger than what Louis has here. He has the 4 lords, meaning that all of these melee units, including the spearmen, the hovelers, are buffed up by 20% HP. But even then, because I think the army composition of the Golden Horde was much better here, Louis was able to protect all of his archers that were killing all the spearmen. So take a look at this. Even though Scarlet Devil's army is much better, and also an age more than LoueMT's army, because he also has men at arms, and the lords upgrade themselves automatically. LoueMT was still able to compete pretty on par with that army, so really interesting to see. So right now the thing is that these guys are actually extremely tanky. Look at this. Almost 300 HP in the feudal age, and once he ages up, he survived the age up, which is taking so long. He's aging up at almost 15 minutes, which is extremely slow, but he survived. All he needs to do right now is get to the age up, upgrade his units just as he did last time, and he will be in a great spot, because right now his Torguts are veteran already. They get upgraded immediately. He gets all of these Roost tributes for free. I think it's for free, I'm not sure, but they spawn really quickly. And now Scarlet Devil cannot push, and he decides to not push just like the last time. Because right now all of LoueMT's economy is in the back. His gold, his stock yards. He also has a tower here, and all of his wood is right here. So everything is protected, and he has successfully survived once again. Really nice play from him. And now let's see what Louis decides to do. So I think at this point Scarlet Devil is in a timer. Louis doesn't have to go out. Scarlet Devil has to do something about this, because LoueMT's army is just going to get much better, and Scarlet Devil's economy is just going to get worse, because he has to play wide. He doesn't have a single farm right now. Meanwhile, Louis already has 5 stockyards, so that's basically like 20 farms, because each stockyard can get 4 villagers inside of it. And now he looks much better in economy than his opponent, and his army also looks a lot stronger. So this is the game, guys. This is what LoueMT does. He tries to survive as best as he can until the Castle Age, and once that happens and all of his economy is under protection, he can do things like this. So right now it actually looks like it is a really pretty even fight. I am not sure who would end up winning it here. It looks like Scarlet Devil comes out on top, and he can later... this was actually a really nice fight for Scarlet Devil, because as opposed to his opponent, he can just bring everything back to the Abbey of Kings and heal them. Look at all of these damaged units. This Earth Guard is pretty much dead, and so are most of the units. And now he can just heal them back to full. So this was actually a really nice fight for him, and it will mean that he will have the army lead for a pretty long while. So right now what Scarlet Devil wants to do is to prevent the Golden Horde to get out of hand, because if he doesn't win right now, he is going to be cooked. You know, I'm pretty sure most of you have already seen how people are talking about the Golden Horde in team games, and how if they reach Imperial, you are dead. That is actually true. So let's see what LoueMT does here to defend. Take a look at this. So this is extremely interesting what he does. And this is what he did in the last game as well. He is luring his opponent's units between the tower and the TC. This is extremely important to do. I have seen so many players taking a fight here for no reason, when you can just lure your opponent here between so many buildings that can shoot. And right now all of his units are buffed up with HP, with the defensive aura edict. He is fighting between 2 defensive structures, and he just used the cannon arrow, which I actually don't know what it does, but I'm sure it buffs up his units. And even though Scarlet Devil's army was almost double the size, he is defending. It doesn't look like it is going the way for Scarlet Devil. And right now what Scarlet Devils have already is just men-at-arms here. He doesn't have any crossbows left, so he doesn't have a way to deal with the Torguts and the Kesheks. And right now he just lost his entire army, and I think this is GG once again, because from here LoueMT can just re-macro. He already has all of these farms. Scarlet Devil has to go around the map looking for resources. He has like a manor here. He has a lone manor here. This thing is pretty sad because it is not generating any resources. And he doesn't have as many farms. He's building a few farms here, but this is actually sad. He's going to run out of food pretty soon. So right now, look at LoueMT's economy. He has so many farms. His food eco is more than twice what Scarlet Devil has. So right now, he is chilling. He could go to Imperial Age right now. He is just defending. He doesn't need to even raid. He's sending 1 or 2 knights around the map just to be annoying. As we see here, he is going to the boar, going to the woodline. Not much, but his main army is here defending, and his objective, as most of you would imagine right now, is to get to Imperial Age. Scarlet Devil's opportunity to end the game has already passed, and right now LoueMT seems like he is going for the Imperial Age. If we can see his macro here, he's actually gathering the resources he needs. And right now, where is his golden tent? It is right here. He is going to go for the stone armies pretty soon. I think he's going for this, I would expect. So yeah, right now Scarlet Devil is on a timer once again. Let's actually slow it down right here. He tries to raid, but I mean, there's nothing you can do, my man. LoueMT is prepared. His main army has always been here, and he is just sending people to raid. Right now, we see that most of his horsemen, actually, his horsemen are just raiding his economy, and now he has to, Scarlet Devil has to worry about this, and worry about the HOP as well. I think this is already GG. Let's actually see what happens next. So right now, Scarlet Devil goes for a frontal attack, and meanwhile LoueMT is already aging up with his own armies, and it seems like Scarlet Devil, because he never stopped investing into units, he actually won a really big fight here. He killed pretty much every horseman LoueMT had here, and all he's left with is a few spearmen, a few tributes, and a bunch of crossbowmen, which right now are not dealing as much damage because Scarlet Devil's army is mainly composed of hovelers and spearmen. So these crossbows are not dealing that much damage. But right now, what is he doing? He's doing exactly the same thing that he did in the previous two engagements, on the engagement on this game and the previous game. He is leading his opponent in between his fortified outpost and his TC. So right now, even though, again, Scarlet Devil has twice the army, LoueMT is still defending pretty well, and look at what he's doing. He is targeting the backline with his TC and with his outpost. Well, I don't think he has his outpost targeting that, but right now some horsemen come out and they start attacking the backline, and the crossbows are still defending. So again, take a look at the army difference and how it's switching. He lured his opponent to this extremely uncomfortable position to attack in, and now that most of his army is dead, I think this is going to be GG. So let's just speed it up. Scarlet Devil sees the HOP, and that is the surrender. Okay, so now let's take a look at how LoueMT deals with a different civilization. This is an 1800 ELO player going for Byzantines. This is no longer a practice game. The previous games against Scarlet Devil, who is also one of the top players in the world right now, by the way. He is also participating in the S tier tournament that is going on right now. This is just a ranked game that occurred in the ladder, I think 1 week ago. So here, he does exactly the same thing. He goes for 2 on gold before anything else. He wants to get the gold before anything because he doesn't know what his opponent is up to. Byzantines is not known for doing barracks in the Dark Age, but he still does this just in case. And now he has his ship here, and he is going to gather it from it to avoid walking time back. And now he goes for the golden tent right here, and I would say he doesn't put it here next to the Uvu because he doesn't need to. He knows he's not getting rushed. If we see his vision, well, he actually doesn't know. Anyways, but he is playing against Byzantines, so I'm guessing he's pretty sure he's not getting rushed. So he doesn't need to make the tower here like he did in the previous 2 games that we just saw. He just goes for the golden tent here because it is closer, I believe, and then he can probably put his fortified outpost here to protect his gold instead of putting it here beside the Uvu. And his opponent, he is just going for the standard thing, which is Grand Winery, a bunch of cisterns, and a lot of scaling with the Byzantines. And if I were him, if I were this Byzantines player, I would stay in feudal, make a ton of units, and try to end the game before LoueMT has a chance to get to the castle age. That is pretty much how I would play against the Golden Horde with any civilization if you were asking me. So here, he is mining gold. He just aged up. He is immediately going for a Batucan, and he will probably go for the Torguds later on, and is mining a ton of wood. And his opponent, who's already working up to Cistern level 3, is still mining stone, so he's probably going to go for Cistern level 5 later in the game. He's actually already working up to it. Cisterns in his outer berries, like so. This cistern will actually influence the woodland as well. And Louis is already going into stockyard, so pretty much what we saw in the first game. He goes for a stockyard pretty early to save food, and he also went for a second Ubu. He's not going for the deer, I don't think, maybe because he doesn't need to, but I am no, well, I am really not sure. I think going for the deer is definitely good because he gets this exposed resource out of the way, but instead he's just going for Stockyard. So this just proves that you can just go for Stockyard straight away, and this thing actually gives you a ton of resources, man. I mean, you can later spend the stone to upgrade them, and it will give you. I believe this is a more optimal way of getting food than regular farms. I'm pretty sure of it, and this also it allows him to stay under his TC for much longer. So it's just spamming Torguts that come out for, well, free, not for free, but they come out with just a stone that he gets passively and with food. So he's just spamming that. And in the back he's also making a ton of archers. Now he goes for the deer. He goes for the deer, and he has all the time raiding with his cavalry. He knows what the timing is for his opponent to go into this exposed resource, and he prevented him from going here straight away with this raid until his all of his infantry gets there to protect his villagers. And now look at this. All of the berries under his Grand Winery are gone. He has, I think, 4 sheep under his TC. He is, it seems, working up towards Castle Age, which I'm not sure is the correct play. If you go for Castle Age, you are also giving time to the Golden Horde to get to Castle Age themselves, and you already know what happens after that. And Louis has not received a single bit of damage yet. He's just using his Torguts that are faster and are better at raiding to make the Byzantines player army go around the gold and the exposed berries defending. So right now he split his army in two to defend from the raids, but in the back of all of that, Louis is already aging up, and we see here exactly what we saw in the previous game, which is he doesn't need his whole army to be here. He can rally his archery ranges and his golden tent here, which is the exposed resource that he has, and that way he doesn't need to build a really expensive tower here. Instead, he just defends it with units, which is, in my opinion, the better option. Right now, Byzantine player has aged up, and this is what I talked about. He aged up much earlier than his opponent. So right now, Byzantine player has a nice opportunity here to upgrade everything. He is doing so right now, and he's getting cataphracts. And go straight into LoueMT's position here, his base, and end the game before the Castle Age comes. But he is so distracted by the raid, by the 8th night raid, that he's allowed Louis to get into the Castle Age. And now all of his Torguts are castle already. They don't need to be upgraded, they just automatically get upgraded. He's working towards his archer upgrades and his +1 ranged attack upgrade, and he will probably continue to make Torguts like this. And his economy is actually not that bad. If we compare the numbers up here, his economy is pretty on par with the Byzantine players, but his units are, I think, much better, because now look at this. These guys have +5 ranged armor, which is actually insane. So all of these longbows are not going to deal almost any damage to this heavy cavalry, and he can use his archers to target the spearmen, as we see here. So now it's a dance between the archers, between the spearmen and the knights. He doesn't even need to pull back, because look at all of the armor that these guys have. He just uses his archers, he doesn't care if he loses them, to clear all the spearmen, and then all the heavy cavalry can go into the backline of the Byzantine player. And now he's denying Byzantine player from gold. He did get a mangonel upgrade on his tower, but he's already way over here. And that, I think, must be GG, because he's already on his woodline. All of his longbow mercenaries are dead. And this just goes to show that if you leave Golden Horde alone, this is what will happen to you. Look at all of these guys. These guys are receiving no damage whatsoever from these arrows, from these TC. It doesn't matter if he has garrison. I don't even know what he is attacking. I think he's attacking Torgut, but take a look. He's not taking any damage. He's literally not taking any damage. Neither does the Man at Arms, that also has 8 ranged armor. So this TC is just idling. It just means that he's idling 15 workers, and that should be pretty much GG. And there you go, guys. This is how you play Golden Horde, how LoueMT plays Golden Horde, and I hope that was useful to everyone.